Against LSU, what made your pass rush so effective? You had 5 sacks with the stunt game. Was that your effectiveness in executing, or was it taking maybe advantage of LSU having some inexperienced offensive linemen?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of it all. I thought we had some inexperienced D linemen too. So, but I thought the guys did a really good job of maintaining the rush lanes. We talked about that all week. Obviously, they got a very mobile quarterback, and we talked about just trying to make sure we try to keep everything condensed, and try to make sure that we're aware of in the country inches of the escape lanes, and obviously that's going to come in effect again this week too. When you're playing against those type of quarterbacks, we got to just make sure that everybody understands we can't rush above the quarterback. We got to be ready to come back and understand where is he trying to escape. When he feels pressure coming.
Rob and Austin.
There's just the progress of your defense from week 1 until last week. LSU really struggled. Running backs at 17 yards combined. I think where has that growth come from? You think?
I think we're still a work in progress. Obviously, the kids are, the young men, they're buying in, but it's still gonna come down to the details and doing the little things right. And like I tell them, the reasoning behind all the madness and the things that we put them through and the things that we try to stress, is for moments like this, because every week it's going to get better. It's going to get bigger, and the fundamentals are going to come into play, and it's going to come down to the team that makes the fewest mistakes. So we've got to continue to improve. Obviously I think our kids are playing hard, but we got to play a lot smarter. We're still just making too many mental errors in areas that. Things that we shouldn't be doing, that we've got to clean up, and we've got to understand why it's so important. If you've got that A gap, you got to maintain it, you got to keep it, you got to be how everything plays together, and, just playing selfless, and just understand my role, do my job. If I do my job and the man next to me does his job, everybody does their job, then we have an opportunity to be successful. And I think that's something that they experienced last week. So hopefully we'll continue to get more buy-in into guys understanding the importance of each individual role.
Austin and Vince.
One of the guys you talked about in the fall camp, that makes some strides, is Don Bailey. Kind of assess where you feel like he's at 5 games in, how you feel like he's been doing, and then same thing with Bryson.
Well, I think the Bailey kid has come a long ways, from where he was last year this time. I think he's made tremendous strides. We need for him to continue to grow and continue to get stronger, continue to strain to do things at a championship level. But I do think he's trending in the right direction. But by no stretch of the imagination, is he a finished product? But I do like the way he's working, and hopefully he will stay on that path and continue to do things the right way so we can have success. And the same thing with Bryson. Bryson's a very talented young man. He has a tremendous skill set. He's still learning, how to play defensive line. Unfortunately, he's playing D-line in a league that, you need to be able to play at a high level. It's not really a good league to be a training ground. But he's a kid that came as a linebacker, prior to us getting here, and I think we dabbled with him last year at end, and obviously you can see his body. His body's more inclined to be an interior guy, which you got to be built to be a tackle, in this league, and mentally and physically. So just getting him to understand the mental aspect of having that mentality where he's going to go in and battle and strain and fight 300 pounders plus pounders every single snap. That's something that he has to embrace, and just understand that he can be really good at it if he will fix some of the nuances that he needs to work on, just fundamentally. So we just got to continue to move the needle in the right direction with all the guys, not just those two. I mean, every guy in the room, we got to continue to get better. And obviously we got to coach them better too.
Ask you about a couple of guys separately. One, you had talked about the
development that you wanted to see from Amari Thomas and that leadership aspect as well as the production to go with it? What kind of season do you think Amari's had?
Well, I think Big O is, being consistent, but, obviously I think, if you talk to Big O, he'll tell you too that there are a lot of things that, he's got to fix, obviously he's got to continue to work on being a natural knee bender. He plays too high, and, he's not, if he's going to be a D lineman in this league, he got to play like a D lineman. Don't look like an O lineman that we just got playing D line. So, it's just, but, he's a tremendous young man that wants to please you and wants to do things the right way. I definitely think he's totally bought in to what we're trying to do here. But now he's got to fix the things as far as, playing with better pad level, playing with better knee bend, not being a waist bender, just being more heavy-handed and striking and just being more disruptive. I mean, that's not just him. DJ's got to do the same thing. Prime's got to do the same thing. Like I stressed to them, we need big guys to play big. We don't need big guys to play small. We could just go out and get a small guy if that's what we're going to get. So we need a big guy to play big.
And what are you seeing from Tyler Barron?
Tyler's just continues, got to continue to grow. And obviously, we're moving Tyler inside a lot on third down situations. Just trying to, take advantage, of some of the things that we feel that his talents are stronger at. Like I told him, I look at him a lot like, Marlon Davidson, the kid I had, at Auburn, a strong side defensive end. Obviously on third down, you like to be able to move him inside, try to create some mismatches, on some pass rush situations. And I think he's buying more into that. And obviously, it's got to be a mindset there too for him. Tyler, same thing. He came here from being a Leo outside drop guy to moving to strong side end to now even buying into, hey, I'm playing some 3 technique. And even though we sit there and we say the Rabbits package is a third down type package, but you'll see if you looked at last week, there are a lot of times that we got in Rabbits and stayed in Rabbits for an extended period of time during the drive. So they've got to be able to play first and second down too. And, obviously there's not an opportunity to rush the quarterback if you don't play good on first, second down and limit the runs.
Last two, Wes, Brent.
Rodney, those of y'all on the staff who have been around, championship caliber football before, how do you kind of find that line of telling your players, guys, it's good that you're playing better and this looks good, but there's still a long way to go here?
Well, one thing I always tell the guys, it's 3 things that don't lie, all right? That's the film, that's the mirror, and that's the Bible. When they sit there and look at that film, no matter what they tell me or what they tell their parents, the film don't lie, all right? So obviously I think it's very evident to everybody that we have to continue to improve. And when you're playing an opponent, like Alabama and Coach Saban, it doesn't matter, who he loses from a player standpoint or from a coach's standpoint. They're sort of like a Mercedes-Benz plant. That assembly line, everything that rolls off of it is a high-quality product. So, we've got to be high quality so we can even just go out there and compete with them. So, so we got to be conscientious of our pad level. We got to be conscientious of our footwork. We got to be conscientious of our eyes, our hat placement, pad level. That's when all those little things, they matter. I mean, you're not, Alabama's not going to beat themselves. I mean, you got to go out there and you have to strain and you have to play well. And that's the only way to be competitive. So, obviously, it's good to be able to make corrections, coming off the LSU game. Obviously there were a lot of things that we did that we needed to clean up. And obviously it's easier to clean it up, when you're coming off of a win. I think people are a little bit more receptive and I think they received the message a little bit better than if you were trying to clean it up with the loss. So I think these guys are seeing it, they're understanding it, that we've got to get better. And and unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of time. It's just every week. I told them we want to keep our head down like that mule that's out there plowing that row, and we don't want to look up. All we care about is keep our eyes down on that row, and we're just going to keep focused on that. And let's just try to get better day by day. Each practice, each game, and let's just see where this thing could be in the end.
Really quickly, Brent.
Yeah, Rodney, even going back to the Pittsburgh game, you made a pretty clear commitment, it looked like, to play 12 guys, and you're playing 12 defensive linemen on a regular basis. How beneficial is that, and what kind of commitment do you have to make to play those 12 guys, even though there's growing pains with some of those young ones who are learning as they go, like the Tyree West and Joshua Josephs and those guys?
Well, obviously, with the number of how fast our offense plays and the number of snaps that we're playing, it's important that you try to keep the guys fresh. For me, I just think that if we get out there, if we ever run out of gas, we can't refuel them in the game. It's just like an airplane. If an airplane runs out of gas up in the air, it's over, right? So, ain't no refueling. So, I'm just trying to keep the guys fresh, because obviously we do have a standard of how we want to play, how we want to run to the ball. We want to play with relentless effort. We want to strain. We want to do all those things. So we want to be able to play the fourth quarter like we played the first quarter. Well, we have no chance of doing that if we empty the tank. So we got to, keep the guys fresh. And then also, just for morale, if a guy knows that, hey, if I'll go out and I'll practice and I'll bust my butt and I'll try to do things the right way, do things the Tennessee way, then I'm going to have an opportunity to get to play on Saturday. Hopefully now you're going to get a better quality of practice, because they're going to be able to get that reward on Saturday, because they all want to play. None of them want to practice, but they all want to play. So, so that's the nugget, you try to dangle in front of them. Hey, man, if you want to play, you got to earn the right. It's nothing that's given to you, to whom much is given, much is required. So the requirement is what you do during practice to prepare and show that we can count on you to go out there and play at a championship level.
Thank you, Coach.